Hey guys, it's the coach here, and I got a what if video for you today. Just like how the Pac-12 was a year off, I think the college football committee is a year off. This would be the perfect year for a 12-team playoff. I mean, why are we not doing it? But whatever, we got the 14 playoff this year, but what if? So I thought today I'm going to break down what if we had the 12-team playoff this year, what it would look like, how it would break down. So let's get into it. All right, if you don't know, this is how it goes. The 6 highest ranked conference champions get automatic bids. So that currently would be, just going off of the rankings currently, that would be Georgia, Ohio State, Washington, Florida State, Texas, and then the 6th would technically be Tulane, with the American, my little golden nugget, going to next year with the Pac-12 dissolving. That leaves the door for the Mountain West or the Fun Belt or even Liberty and Conference USA to be that 6th team next year. So watch out, it could be crazy with JMU or Liberty fighting for that last spot. So be on the lookout for that. Then the other 6 would be Michigan, Alabama, Oregon, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Penn State would round out my wild card too. But coach, Louisville's technically in the top 12. Why aren't they on the list? I'm going kind of what I would expect to happen. Louisville loses to Florida State, then they are out, squash. Let's be real, the committee's going to put another SEC team in. They're going to get Ole Miss to 10-2 rather than a Louisville team with 2 losses as well. So those are my 6 wild cards. So let's look at how they would break down in the bracket. So the top 4 teams get buys, but they have to be conference champions. So you'd have Georgia would get a bye, Ohio State would get a bye, the 2 seed, Washington would be the 3 seed and get a bye, and then Florida State with their backup quarterback would get the 4 seed in this scenario. Let's look at these first round matchups. The lower seed would be the host and get to host at home. So in my first matchup, we would have 8-seeded Alabama versus 9-seed Missouri. Talk about a fun SEC matchup. We can see if Missouri is the real deal. Can Saban win at home? This would be in Tuscaloosa. That'd be a fun environment, fun atmosphere, SEC showdown for the first game. That would be a good one. The second game I have is the 5-seed Michigan versus 12-seed Tulane. Tulane being the underdog, going on the road to Michigan at the Big House. This would be a fun storyline. I think Michigan will get the job done easily, but that would be a fun game to see. The other one would be the 6-seed Texas taking on the 11-seed Ole Miss. You have Texas joining the SEC, the following year. Ole Miss, the current SEC member. Be a fun showdown to kind of see, where does Texas stand? Could Texas go 2-0 against SEC teams this year? Can Ole Miss spoil the party in Austin? That would be another fun game. And the final first round game, you would have Oregon versus Penn State. Oregon being the 7 seed, Penn State being the 10 seed. So Oregon getting to host at home, trying to revenge, their loss to Washington and keep this playoff hope alive. I think that would be a fun one. I think Oregon's offense would be too much for Penn State, but I think this would be a fun game to see and really would showcase how good, is the Pac-12 compared to the Big Ten. Third best team in the Big Ten, second best team in the Pac-12. This would be a fun one to kind of see where the conferences align. And Oregon's going to be in the Big Ten soon, so this would be another fun future kind of rivalry game kind of setting up. All right, quarterfinals matchups. The lower seed will get the opportunity to kind of be at the, better bowl option for them or the closer location. So the 1 seed being Georgia and the Peach Bowl being a quarterfinal destination. I would see the Peach Bowl would go to Georgia and Georgia would get hosted. They basically get a home game in the quarterfinal and they would play the winner of Alabama, Missouri. So that would be fun. A repeat rematch between the SEC title game. That would be super exciting to see. Alabama, Georgia, round 2. Can Nick Saban kind of right his wrongs and get revenge, in that scenario? So that would be a fun one. The second quarterfinal game would be Ohio State at the Sugar Bowl. I gave them the Sugar Bowl not because because of the travel and the team. So I didn't want to, if you give the Rose Bowl, then Oregon kind of is closer, and you possibly get Oregon getting more of a home field advantage, and Penn State being up north too. I think the Sugar Bowl would be good for Ohio State, kind of that neutral site for them. So that's why I gave it to them. And then just an Ohio State Oregon matchup would be fun. They played a couple years ago, Oregon beating Ohio State at home, so that would be a fun little rematch. Or does Penn State finally get over the hump in the playoffs and beat Ohio State? So those could be two really good matchups in the quarterfinals. The third one would be Washington in the Rose Bowl. I think that would be cool and fun versus Texas or Ole Miss. I think a Washington-Texas game could be electric and be the best game of the quarterfinals. And then the other quarterfinal game was Florida State versus Michigan or Tulane. I think Florida State kind of lost its luster in this scenario with Jordan Travis being out. But, man, if Jordan Travis was healthy, Florida State versus Michigan would be a heck of a game in the Fiesta Bowl. The semifinal matchups would be in next year will be the Orange Bowl and Cotton Bowl, so that's how I would say the semifinals would go. I mean, you could get some really good semifinal matchups. Georgia versus Michigan would probably be my bet for the semifinal game. And then you would have maybe Ohio State versus Texas could be it. Washington, Oregon, Washington, Ohio State. So there's a lot of good matchups that could play out in the semifinal. And then the national championship game is in Houston, which who cares at that point? I think it'd be more fun. But that's just kind of a breakdown of what the college football playoffs would have looked like if it was a 12-team playoff instead of the 4 we got this year. It sucks because I think this is the year that it could have been really fun, really exciting, and some really good matchups. I don't know if the outcome would change with who would be in the championship with the 14 to the 12, but I think you would get some really fun and exciting games in December and early January that kind of hold us over and give us our college football fix instead of some of those kind of slappy Bahama Bowls and stuff like that. So did you agree with me leaving Louisville out of the top 12 or disagree with me? Let me know. I don't want to get some hate from Louisville fans. And as always, see y'all next time. Appreciate y'all. Peace.